crawl position, roll, reset. Roll. What's up everyone? Today we're going over the RFT roll, or what I like to call it, the barrel roll. Do a barrel roll. The reason why you would do this movement is to train your vestibular system. It's one of the key components that raw functional training likes to emphasize on. Sensory, proprioception, and vestibular. Okay, so what does that mean? What does that mean? What am I training? Is that a muscle? Is that something I can show off on Instagram? It's not. It's literally it's the vestibular system in your head. Balance. Think about balance. And people think functional training like balance, like, oh, I'm supposed to. No, like how can you better orient yourself when you are disoriented, when you are dizzy as fuck? You can push yourself. A lot of people can push themselves physically, but can you truly push yourself mentally? Including the fact of if you're dizzy, you are uncomfortable, can you push through that? Doesn't matter how strong or fast or big you are, if you're dizzy as fuck and you can't recover, then you can't really use everything else in your disposal. So the practice behind this, or the theory of this, is when we involve the vestibular system, when we involve rolls, and not to a crazy extent, but when we start touching on that, it helps train that part of our performance, which we don't really pay attention to. I've been doing it a little bit more with our athletes. They hate it, but think about it this way. When you're sensory overload and you get disoriented, what are you gonna do? Are you trained, are you used to the fact of being dizzy and disoriented and overwhelmed? Can you reset? Are you trained to get back in action or attempt to? So that's the reason behind these rolls. It kind of touches on that, kind of adds that element in your training. I leave it to the end of your training after you do all your hypertrophy strength stuff, and then do it as a fun thing at the end. I always wait for, don't do it in the beginning, unless you're an asshole to your athletes. But I do it towards the end. It's a fun thing to finish off on. It's a great finisher. Here's how to do it, okay? So when we do the roll, you start on the crawl position. That's the base position, guys. Position. All right, so right here, and what I'm gonna do is, when I roll, okay, I'm gonna roll on my ass right here, and I'm using this arm to swing. I'm gonna swing this arm back and then reset to a crawl position. All right, same thing if I go the other way, on my butt, and I swing. The swinging part is the big part, all right? It gets very hard if you're rolling in without the swing. Try to make it efficient, okay? And when you notice at first, there's one side that's always stronger than the other. It's so weird. So if I go on this side right here, right, let me go. So what we do over here is we're gonna go right here. We're gonna go 2 rolls to my right, and then repeat that. So 2 rolls to my right, then I'm gonna side crawl back. Repeat that for 5 sets. And then do 2 crawls to the left and side crawl back. You're teaching like different sides. You're gonna get dizzier on one side versus the other. So right here, crawl position, roll, reset. Roll, the side crawl is to recover. Get your bearings. Recover, do again. Roll, roll, side crawl back. Get your bearings. Let's do it for a 3rd time. Right here, roll, roll, side crawl back. Get your bearings. Can you focus? Do it for 2 more. My side is this side. That is the weak side. I'm fairly dizzy. So but the more you do this, your body's gonna start, it's gonna wanna adapt. It's gonna be like, I can't, this is too much. We gotta find a better way to get this. So you're gonna start fixating on things when you roll. Your body, your brain's gonna start to have you do things where you don't get as dizzy. That's how you adapt to situations. Translate this to football. When you're on the ground, you're tackling, you're trying to get the ball, you're on the ground, you're rolling, you gotta get up and huddle. There's a lot of things, a lot of stimulus going on. And if you already kind of trained your athletes to reset and get going and focus, it just makes it that much better, all right? Still, still kind of diving into this type of training thing, but there are studies, there are papers talking about vestibular training, and does it truly work? The studies on it. I have a few sources and links below, but it's still new. So I'm trying it out, I'm diving into it. I like it, it's great stuff. If it'll help my athlete just 1%, 2%, 3%, 10% better, then why not? It's another element of training. I don't have to beat them to the ground to do it. The rolls are pretty low impact. You can control it. They're not running, they're not doing downhill sprints all the fucking time. I'm not like messing up their joints, but it's another aspect of conditioning where aside of like, I'm not just beating his ass. I'm not like running him to the ground. I'm training another aspect of his performance that a lot of people don't really touch on. So give that a try if you want. If you're a newbie client, I highly suggest against. This is more like intermediate advanced stuff. But yes, this is Coach Austin with Hyper Strength and Conditioning. I'll see you guys later.